The year is 900 AD. Somewhere on the coast of Norway, a longhouse sits beneath a sky heavy with snow. Inside, a fire crackles. Warriors sharpen axes. Children sleep beneath furs. And then a sound none of them have ever heard. A chime. Bright, clean, impossibly precise. Coming from something glowing on the dirt floor. Bjorn Haraldsson is the first to reach it. He is not the Jarl. Not the strongest. Not the wisest. He is simply the closest. And in this moment, proximity becomes power. He picks up the rectangle. It is warm. Impossibly smooth. And across its face, light. Moving light. Symbols he cannot read. Colors that do not exist in his world. He touches the glass and the world shifts. A map appears. Blue oceans. Green land masses. A pulsing blue dot that moves when he moves. The other warriors crowd around him, breath steaming in the cold air. None of them speak. They have just witnessed something they have no word for. Within hours, the Jarl is summoned. His name is Eric Bloodaxe, not the famous one, a different Eric with an equally violent disposition. He takes the device from Bjorn without asking. Bjorn does not resist. You do not refuse a Jarl. But something changes in Bjorn's eyes. He was the first to hold it. And he will remember that. The Jarl Skald, his storyteller, his advisor, is the first to understand what the map means. He recognizes the coastline of Norway. He traces his finger westward across the glass ocean. Past Iceland. Past the edge of every map any Viking has ever drawn. And there, glowing in the dark, is a massive continent. Unmarked. Unnamed. Waiting. They do not know it is called North America. They do not know about the forests, the rivers, the civilizations already thriving there. All they see is green. Endless green. And a blue dot showing them exactly how to get there. The battery reads 87%. 3 longships launch within a week. 40 warriors each. The Jarl commands the lead vessel. The smartphone is mounted on a wooden frame at the prow, wrapped in oilskin against the spray. A boy of 12 is assigned to watch the blue dot and shout directions. He is the world's first GPS navigator. The crossing takes 19 days. 19 days of following a dot on glass while the North Atlantic tries to kill them. 2 men are lost overboard. 1 ship nearly capsizes. But the dot never wavers. It knows where they are even when the stars are hidden. Even when the horizon disappears into fog. 71%. They make landfall on what we would call Newfoundland. 500 years before Columbus will stumble into the Caribbean thinking it is India. These Vikings know exactly where they are. The map told them. The terrain matches. The blue dot sits perfectly on the coastline. And unlike Columbus, they came prepared. The first week is paradise. Fresh water. Game in the forests. Timber thicker than anything in Scandinavia. The warriors build a settlement with a speed that would make historians weep. No fumbling. No wrong turns. The map shows them rivers to follow, elevations to avoid. 58%. But then Bjorn, the man who first held the device, begins to talk. Quietly at first. To 3 men, then 5, then 12. He says the gods sent the rectangle to him. Not to the Jarl. The Jarl took it by force. The gods are watching. And the gods do not forget theft. The mutiny happens at dawn on the 26th day. Bjorn and his followers attack the Jarl's tent. 2 men die. The Jarl escapes with a wound across his ribs and the smartphone clutched to his chest like an infant. He retreats to the largest longship with his loyalists. Bjorn holds the settlement. The Jarl holds the device. 41%. A standoff. The Jarl controls the navigation. Bjorn controls the food, the water, the land. Neither can survive without the other. And neither will bend. The smartphone becomes the most valuable object on the continent. More valuable than gold. More valuable than iron. Because it contains something neither side can make certainty. On the 31st day, the Jarl discovers something new. He swipes past the map and finds the camera. He taps it. And for the first time in human history, a Viking sees his own face in perfect detail. Not in a rippled pond. Not in a polished shield. But pixel by pixel, pore by pore. He screams. Then he stares. Then he cannot stop looking. He begins taking pictures. The coastline. The trees. His warriors. He does not understand storage, or megapixels, or JPEG compression. But he understands preservation. He is capturing his world in a way that runes on stone never could. 29%. And dropping faster now. The cold is killing the battery. Bjorn attacks again. This time at night. This time with fire. The longship burns. Warriors die in the water. And in the chaos, the Jarl takes one final photograph. It is a picture of nothing in particular: flames, dark water, the silhouette of a man with an axe. The shutter sound clicks. 14%. The Jarl dies before sunrise. An arrow through the throat. Bjorn takes the device from his still warm hands. 7%. The screen dims. The blue dot fades. The map that guided them across an ocean is disappearing. Bjorn holds it up to the sky like an offering to Odin. But Odin does not charge iPhones. 3%. 2. The device makes one final sound, a low tone, almost mournful. The screen flashes a red battery icon. And then, black. The rectangle becomes a mirror. A dark, silent, useless mirror. Bjorn stares at his own reflection in the dead glass and feels something no Viking has ever felt before. Withdrawal. But here is where the story turns. The settlement survives. Bjorn's people stay. They mix with indigenous populations. They build. They adapt. They forget where they came from, but they never forget the rectangle. It is placed in a wooden shrine. Wrapped in the finest leather. Passed from generation to generation. They call it Lajastafla, the light tablet. Centuries pass. The colony becomes a civilization. The light tablet becomes a religion. Wars are fought over it. Temples are built around it. Priests claim to hear it hum on holy nights. The last photograph the Jarl ever took, the flames, the axe, the dark water, is described in their sacred texts as a vision of Ragnarok. The end of the world. Frozen in glass. When European explorers finally reached this coast in 1497, they do not find an empty wilderness. They find cities. Roads. A written language based on symbols that look hauntingly like app icons. And at the center of the largest temple, behind locked doors, guarded by an order of warrior monks, a small black rectangle. Screen cracked. Battery dead for 600 years. The explorers write home about a civilization that worships a black mirror. A dead god made of glass and metal. They call it barbaric. They call it pagan. They call it proof that these people need saving. They never realize they are looking at a piece of their own future, mistaken for someone else's past. And somewhere in that dead phone, on a solid-state drive that will not decay for another 10,000 years, sits a photograph. Flames on water. A man with an axe. The last image a dying Jarl captured before the world went dark. A picture worth not 1,000 words, but an entire civilization. Built on the memory of light. Chrono drop.